Alright, so in Wii Any percent, we do Epona seam clip in Hyrule Field South, and then we do some confusing out-of-bounds movement to get to the Kakariko Gorge warp portal for routing reasons that I'll explain in the description. So this video won't talk about seam clip itself, but will focus on how to do the movement to the portal. By the way, the reason I'm just floating like this is because Epona doesn't decrease in height when there's no collision below her. So if there's any collision, even if it's void, then Epona will start sinking. But since there's no collision, I can just fly around like this. So basically what we do is we go out of bounds, then we go over to the north part of Hyrule Field South. The reason we do that is so we can get behind a loading zone and we can clip in bounds so that we can increase Epona's height, because Epona needs to be at a higher height in order to load the next transition. So we go to the north part, we increase Epona's height, and then we go back to the west part over here, and then we stand on some out of bounds collision so that we can load this transition. And once we load this transition, then we're going to go around an invisible wall, and we're going to step into the transition, and then the transition will load Kakariko Gorge, and then we can go fight the Shadow Beast to get the portal. Okay, so the first step once you seam clip is to get to the north part of Hyrule Field South. So I'm just going to go ahead and start dashing. Evenly spaced dashes. Gonna make sure not to get too close to the wall or else we'll get stopped. And then right here, I'm gonna go under this collision. I'm gonna make sure I'm not gonna get too close to the collision or else I'll clip back in bounds. And then right here, there's actually an invisible wall on my left here that I have to be careful of. Like, it's not a big deal, but it will slow me down if I run into it like that. So yeah, the invisible wall is right there, so I just have to go around it. Just like in this kind of direction. So I just can clear the invisible wall. Now I can start heading in this direction, which is where I need to go. Alright, so this is where the loading transition for Hyrule Field North is. Although we're behind it, so this is just some out-of-bounds collision. And the reason we got over here is just to increase height for Epona, and then still remain out of bounds. So the easy way of doing this is just if I try to clip in too early, this is the other side of the wall, so I'll get stopped. But the easy way is to kind of go around here, go under the wall, turn around, and then just walk back into bounds, and then go up here. That's the easy way to do it. But something that you'll notice is that Epona has a property where if she's going fast enough, like in dashing speed, and she goes under out of bounds collision and is close enough to it, then she'll just pop back in bounds. And this is the fast way of doing it, although it is a little bit precise. So once I have my dashes, I'll go like this. And now I'm clipped in bounds. Basically what I did there, so I'm going to go as soon as I get low enough to go under the wall, I'm going to dash. And then I should have enough speed to clip back up, just like that. And then as a backup, let's say I mess this part up, I can still go forward, then kind of go at an angle like that, and I should clip up just like that. So now we're high enough to clip back in bounds in the transition to the gorge. But first we have to load the transition, and we do that by going to the west and touching some collision out of bounds. So I'm pretty much going to turn left here and then go in this direction. I kind of just look at this vertical line. It's not too big of a deal. By the way, the back of Twilight walls are green. That's why you're seeing green. Yeah, anyways, I'm going to keep going in this direction. I'm going to try to make it so my dash ends at around here, as having too high speed for this next part will be a problem. Alright, so now we're going to touch some out-of-bounds collision in order to load the next transition. And we'll know if the transition loaded if Hyrule Field South is no longer highlighted. So it's still highlighted, which means we haven't loaded it. But I kind of look for this little plant kind of thing here, and I kind of just walk Epona over it. So now you can see it loaded the next transition, and Hyrule Field South is no longer highlighted. Just something to know about right here, if you go too far right, you'll get a Midna prompt, which is annoying, but it's not a big deal. Nice. Alright, so once we've loaded the transition, we're going to have to go to the transition itself. But remember, there's still that big invisible wall there, so we're going to have to go around that. So I'm gonna load the transition. To get my dashes, I'm gonna kind of go in this direction. Just like this. And once I clear the wall, I can turn. And I'll turn on polygon collision so you can see where it is. The invisible wall is this way. So I clear it, I'm just going to turn just like that, and then going this way. Alright, so the next step is just like before. We're going to get enough speed under this floor, and then we'll clip back and bounce. So I kind of look for, there's a little patch of grass here. I can show it. I kind of try to dash towards that patch of grass. So I'm going here, I wait for my dashes to come back. I'm going to go under the wall and clip back in under the floor, just like that. And then I can go to this Shadow Beast fight right here. So there's two things to worry about here. The first one is that once you load the next area, there's a big void really far below, and that counts as collision, so Epona is going to decrease in height and then void out. So you got to be careful of that. Make sure you clip back and bounce pretty much right away. If you don't do that, so if I load this area, don't clip back and bounce, I'm just going to fall into the void. So that's one thing to worry about. And the other thing to worry about, let's say you have a little bit extra height here. Make sure you pop in right here. If you pop in over here, the game is going to crash because it's going to load the next area while you're in it. And that's not good. So if I try to do that, yep, game crashed. So yeah, anyways, I'm going to clip and bounce just like this. And then, by the way, opponent slowing down like that is normal. That's just the next area loading. Anyways, I'm going to use all my dashes. I'm going to try to spin all of these. I noticed one of them didn't give me like a loud hit sound, so this guy didn't get hit. So I could either hit him twice with a slash, or I could jump attack. It's usually going to be safer just to hit him with a slash twice like that. So now it should be enough to kill all of these guys. And now, for the frame perfect required Gorge Void, let's see if I can get it. And I got it. Let's go. And yeah, then you save warp, and that's pretty much it.